Hi Scorpio, here is a general look at your solar chart for November 2014, and may I wish you a happy birthday. Now, you may or may not know, but you will know if you follow the astrology predictions online, that you have Saturn transiting through your sign. So the good news is that this is the last full month that Saturn will be in your sign. Saturn is leaving towards the very, very end of December for a few months, and then will come back into the very later degrees of Scorpio in 2015 for a short time. That's probably, some of you will be saying, oh, okay, that's a relief. For those of you that don't really know about the Saturn energy, it's the energy of building and creating success through adversity, through the school of hard knocks, through delays, through slowdowns, through obstacles, through the proverbial spanner in the works. Now this month, because the sun is in your sign and other planets are in your sign, which are good, they'll all be kind of bumping across Saturn, which is the long-term resident, your lodger, and has been there since October 2012. So I will let you know straight off. And by the way, excuse the background noise. I'm in a very sort of exposed, noisy Spanish street with a lot of offstage kind of activities going on here. So anyway, pushing on. So we all of us have got the planets going over Saturn, and depending on our mood and our response, we can achieve through pushing through with whatever it is we're trying to get organized with, whatever we're trying to bring to a fruition, we're trying to conclude, we're trying to start, whatever it is. So for you, with Saturn being in your sign, first of all, the times that the moon goes over Saturn is going to be the only time the moon is going over Saturn in your sign is actually going to be on the 22nd. So that day there is a day when the energies you might feel a bit blocked, a bit frustrated, or just a bit down on your vitality on that day there. And then the other days, for your information, will be the 7th and the 8th, when the moon opposes Saturn, and then the 14th and the 15th. It won't be the whole of the 7th and the 8th and the 14th and 15th. It will be just a little window of time within there, but I have to give a wider margin depending on where you are on the planet, sort of thing. Because for some of you it'll be in the night, you see, so that's fine. And then again on the 28th. The 28th, yeah, the 28th is quite one, I think, to watch out for if you're planning to do anything extraordinary or you're hoping for something, particularly on the 28th and particularly on the 22nd. That's when we get the moon and also Mercury very near Saturn as well, which can make things a bit downbeat or a bit like, oh, poor me, nobody's paying attention. Now, what I'm doing here is pointing out the potential glitch areas, but also I'm pointing out the times when, if you've got something ongoing or a series of things, as we all do, these are the times that you just got to, you know, clench that jaw or dig in those heels or push that bit harder, or indeed say, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. I am done with this now, because you've got to be ready to say that. And Saturn is brilliant because she is a female energy, will push us between a rock and a hard place, right up against the wall, until we reach, finally, you know, we get over ourselves and we reach for something that is better, something that is more worthy of our great expanded selves. Of course, we're not aware of those great expanded selves because we have to be sort of kind of in this rather dense limited 3D reality, but Saturn is a great teacher through challenge, really. And so some of you might just be saying, you know, that's it. This is the time now. I am ready to move on from this, or whatever it is. You know, you can also be feeling very, very strongly that this is the time, no time for quitting, which you as a fixed sign are probably, you know, you probably tend to deal with Saturn like that. This is no time for quitting. You know, we have what we have. We are what we are. It is what it is. So those are those times there. And then look particularly to the second week, though, because the second week seems like there might be a little bit of pressure going on there, a lot on your plate, maybe just, yeah, a little bit more to handle. But we're not being dramatic here about things, because there's no need to. Also in the third week, when the Sun and Saturn are very close together, between the 17th and the 19th, again, it's not a great expansive time. It's more a time for consolidation. It's more a time for pulling it together, or, you know, keeping a low profile maybe, or just not sticking one's head above the parapet. So there we are. That's that time in the second week and the third week. And then we do actually get between the 24th and the 28th, it's the 22nd actually, it's 22nd and the 28th, we get Mercury near Saturn. When Mercury's near Saturn, there might be paperwork, there might be, you know, formal type meetings. In fact, really with Mercury and Venus, so that would be in the second week, 10th to the 14th. And also in the between the 22nd and the 28th, in other words, the last few days, or rather towards the last few days. So there's a lot of sort of formality, watching the P's and Q's, doing things correctly, coming up to a certain standard. So there's a little bit of that going on in pockets throughout November, but I've just mentioned them all, and of course all of the bits of the spaces on either side of those times, things should be, you know, rolling along quite smoothly. So we have the Sun in your sign, so it's a very powerful time for you, and it means that you've come out of a time at the end of the third week of October, actually, you've come out of a time of being very much in the background with things, and being very much there for others maybe, and doing what needs to be done because it, you know, it has to be done, not because it's your personal wish sometimes, and maybe being, you know, not acknowledged for how much you're putting into things. But then when the Sun comes into your sign, that's different. That's time for you to be more self-centered, to go for whatever is supportive of yourself or nearest and dearest, for you to go after goals and ambitions that you really want to, whether they're just little mini ones or whether they're major ones. Until the 9th, Mercury is working from quite deep levels though, so still you'll be quite sort of introspective and reflective, and more open maybe to emotional energies, subtle energies, easier to push your buttons, feeling a bit tender, feeling a bit raw at times, or maybe not that, simply wanting everything to be okay. Things are up in the air. It's a little bit like, is it going to happen? Are we going to make it? Is it, you know, you can be preoccupied, and you can be reading too much into things as well. It might just be that you're preoccupied, or you're reading too much into things, and you are actually getting that sort of fear reaction, fear sort of emotional pattern coming up again, which is to do with your past. But this is a good time to be in an environment, in a little kind of bubble with others. Imagination and intuition are working well. Actually, this is a time for you to trust that renowned gut of yours, that organic knowing that you have, that you feel in your body, because your body is quite a body-centered, your sign, sorry, is quite a body-centered sign. And whereas others might be seers, like clairvoyance, your sign tends to be clairsentient. but also clairaudient as well. Very much in the body, feeling in my bones. I feel this in my bones, or I feel this in my gut. I feel this in my, in my heart, however you want to put it. And then from the 9th to the 28th, Mercury comes into your sign, putting you very much in a different frame of mind. You're very outgoing then, no longer introspective. You're connecting with others. There's a lot of maybe different impressions coming at you, and there may be more paperwork. There may be more correspondence. You could be aware of vehicles, travel, transport, that type of thing, and you want to be clear, on what others are saying to you, but also what you're saying to others. You can feel a bit scattered because you can be doing a lot through phone, Skype, whatever else, people in person. And you need to engineer times so that you can be quiet, that you can just retreat, because you are a water sign. And water signs are very right brain, they're not totally in the logic of this modern kind of world. You can turn it on, but really you need to retreat to that kind of space of water and just being and being out of the mind, being out of your mind. And from the then the 17th, up until the 17th, Venus is also in the same area as Mercury and the Sun, and they're all in there together. So with Venus in your sign up until the 17th, this is really a beautiful sort of golden haze, that softens, a bit like muslin over the camera lens that they used to do in old Hollywood movies. It makes everybody really, really glamorous. So you come across in this rather more glamorous, appealing, attractive kind of a way. And yes, I know that Saturn, there's a lot of Saturn around, but this is more like Saturn is the cake, the shape of the cake, and the density and the heaviness of the cake. But Venus is the icing on the cake, the beautiful, decorative, artistic icing on the cake. And close relationships tend to get a boost. All relationships actually tend to get a boost. New relationships as well can be coming into your life. And it's good news for business and for your personal life. But also you feeling a little bit more self-indulgent, and why shouldn't you? Saturn going through a sun sign is not a piece of cake, really. You need a bit of a break, you need a bit of a rest. So being more self-indulgent, it's your birthday month, and you can just feel more flow and maybe more abundance and ability to relax coming in around you. So that's all of those three, and then Venus moves out of there and moves into what better place could she move to but your money house, material security house, property. So that's finances, that's property, that's anything material like basic stuff, food on the table, roof over the head, clothes on the back. But it's also other resources like chairs and tables and whatever. But it's personal possessions as well, like smaller things. And in general, Venus here tends to ease things materially, but you also tend to feel supported because you're teaming up with somebody, or you feel helping hands around you to help you out, a little bit more with Venus in that area there. But you can continue to feel self-indulgent. So just don't be careful, not finding yourself putting your hand in your pocket more than necessary, because the temptation, or rather the urge, will be more there. However, you can do not too badly materially with Venus in that area. And then the Sun follows hard on the heels of Venus, putting all of that materialistic center stage. Key themes are centered around stuff, your stuff, their stuff, it could be, but also protecting it, maintaining it, moving it, ditching it, or getting your hands on more. It's also an area of well-being. It's also an area to do with diet. It's also an area to do with well-being. and that might be in others' well-being, not just your own. So maybe looking at, you know, the quality of what's going through your body, or the quality of air, or the quality of, just the quality of the environment for yourself or for nearest and dearest, or just others. And also from the 28th, Mercury then joins Venus and the Sun. So all three of them are really putting huge emphasis on that house in your chart, which is this very physical, material, basic stuff house, essential needs house, and gathering information about whoever or whatever would be best for yourself and others in this area of resources. And it plans may focus upon useful resources or practical ways of achieving this or that or the other useful practical result. And you know, things like buying, selling, renting, leasing could also be on your mind, and you're thinking more about, okay, we've got to prioritize here, what's of most value. But again, with Venus there, it can work in your favor. Mars is in your solar communications sector, making you very busy in your mind, and just at the same time as Mercury being in your sign, and that's between the 9th and the 28th, you really are going to be. So again, I'm going to say, you know, try to deliberately engineer private spaces for yourself where you can just calm that mind, just go into meditation, go into mindfulness, just zone out, you know, with music or walking or swimming or whatever it is you use. Because that would be good, and that would help you to think more clearly and more calmly when you come back into ordinary mind again. But the educational pursuits, speaking, writing, making connections, socializing, all of that can be a bit competitive as well. Very, very busy, comings and goings. And again, like I say, maybe you have things revolve around transport, travel, schedules, timetables, vehicles, communications equipment, that sort of stuff. And there's generally going to be more correspondence or other types of paperwork than usual, flying hither and thither. Very likely, you know, forms and that kind of thing is likely for some of you, because everything I'm mentioning here, of course, isn't going to be sort of for all of you all of the time. And then Saturn, well, I've mentioned that as well, pushing through, building new structures and pushing through, building some more, getting some adversity and delays, and building more new structures. And knowing when to quit as well, when something is becomes chronically obvious that it's just not, it's too rusted, it's too corroded, it's too something, it's too stiff, it's not going to work. So also that. But having said that, a Saturn transit can make you think rather negatively about things. So just be aware, and it's always down to you, you know. It's always down to the individual. The planets don't have an opinion on anything. It's just down to us and how we respond and handle and deal with the energy of the transit. And then Jupiter is going to be in your area of career until next August. And this is opening more doors for you, and you will have to sort of filter down what is going to be of most use to you, and in your general direction in life, and also in your professional area as well. And you Scorpios born in the last 10 days, or with 19 to 23 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most. I should have said Scorpios born in the last 10 days, or with 23 to 28 degrees rising, are going to feel the energy of Saturn the most this month, because Saturn is coming into the later degrees of the sign before Saturn is removing from your sign, getting right out of your sign by the nearly the very end. It was Christmas Eve actually. So Christmas Day will be when Saturn has actually gone on into Sagittarius. And well, that's it for November. And if you know your moon sign or your rising sign, listen to those. And also you can go to my website and read most of what I've just said here. And I'll see you the next time.